Important detail that's being left out of this tragic tale. Take a look.
Right over there is the carport where Samantha hung herself. I never really liked Jonathan. He was very controlling. He wouldn't let her have friends. He would track her with GPS. Basically, Samantha wasn't allowed to do anything. Jonathan let me and Samantha be friends because I lived right across the street and he could pretty much keep tabs on her. Samantha told me that he wanted to have an open relationship. The agreement was that one night stands were okay, but anything more serious than that wasn't allowed. They were supposed to be getting engaged, and if she didn't do what he wanted, he would leave. Samantha told me that Jonathan had been sleeping with other people when he was gone for the summer. Samantha was with one person twice. Jonathan called her hooking up with that guy an affair of the heart because it happened more than one time. Affairs of the heart broke the rule. And he said that he needed to have his own affair and that Samantha would just have to be okay with that or else he would leave. The night she died, there's no question about it. They were still very much in a relationship with one another, even though he was sleeping with other people. I told him that none of this would have ever happened if he hadn't taken that other girl home. His response was that if it hadn't been that night, it would have been any other night.
Jen became our neighbor right about the time that Samantha had that affair. They were never friends. They had only hung out a couple of times. But a lot of this discussion about allegations of me being controlling or otherwise, I think it's important to put this in a time context because all of these allegations are based on the time from when I had discovered her having the affair until the time she had passed. I insisted on separating multiple times, and Samantha responded with threats of suicide. What choices am I supposed to make at that point?
Tell someone. That's the choice you were supposed to make.
Let me ask some. Why were you feeling the need to track her phone, be telling her, you've got 2 minutes to do this, you need to get back to me, tell me where you are, you better this, that, and the other? What's that about?
That was wrong. That was wrong.
Yes, it was.
Over the summer while I was out of town, I would be calling her and she wouldn't answer. No big deal. I was able to look at her phone log and see that all the times I had called, she had been with another guy.
But you were with a woman the night she died, right?
I was staying with a friend that night.
And did you go home with that girl?
At 4 in the morning.
But you did go home with that girl?
I did, because me and Samantha were separate.
You went home and slept with that girl that night?
I did not sleep with her. That never happened.
You went home with her?
I went home with her at 4 in the morning.
You slept at her house?
I slept at her apartment.
Did you wake up and make out with her that morning?
I don't think it's necessary for me to get into the intimate details. And I don't think it's necessary to bring Samantha's personal, intimate life on national television. I think that Samantha would be appalled by the breach of privacy.
At that time, Samantha wasn't sleeping with anybody.
You never cared about what Samantha thought when she was alive.
Next, Katie and Dan claim Jonathan is out to cash in on their daughter's death and is fighting them over their daughter's belongings. We're talking about a bicycle, a hammock, and a mixing bowl. We'll talk about that after the break.
Jonathan could care less about the loss of Samantha.
We were on our way back to Tennessee with her ashes.
The next thing we know, Jonathan is calling us on the phone, screaming at us. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. She dropped out of school.
You bought her a new car.
And wants to be a YouTube star.
I know every aspect on everything. I mean, it's television. It's not that hard.
That's tomorrow.
Same day that Samantha killed herself, I went over to their house. Jonathan started complaining to me about how Samantha had him over by killing herself because she knew that he couldn't afford to pay bills on his own. Your girlfriend just killed herself. You're complaining about how you can't afford your bills. I thought that it was insane.
Well, Katie and Dan claim that since their daughter's death, Jonathan acts like he could care less about their loss and is more interested in making money off her death. Jonathan says that's wrong. He's just trying to protect what is rightfully his.